So I would be evaluating your plans right now, your needs. You need to have the appropriate supplies.
Preparing for a monster storm that's now a loose cannon. The trail of damage Hurricane Irene is leaving behind and where that storm is taking aim. Rebels continue their effort to take down Muammar Gaddafi, their latest target, and a surprising appearance during all the mayhem.
A radical extremist threatened to cut my tongue out. I wish I had a nickel.
David Letterman the butt of his own jokes after receiving a not-so-funny threat, while Letterman is in hot water with terrorists. And she's portrayed a heroine in the movies, but now is one in real life. Who saved an elderly woman from this burning mansion? Your independent news network starts right now. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Mickle. Welcome to INN News. We begin with Hurricane Irene, which is now becoming a monster storm as it churns through the Gulf. The storm stopped over the northern sector of the Dominican Republic, leaving this mess behind. Irene is a Category 2 storm right now, but the Hurricane Center expects Irene will grow into a Category 3 overnight and possibly even a monster Category 4 storm before it's through. With more on that and which part of the U.S. could be affected, here's meteorologist Pat Walker.
Thanks, Mike. Of course, everyone along the East Coast from Florida all the way up to New York City are definitely watching Irene of where it may be going later this week after the earthquake today. And now this coming in later this week. This could be a very busy week along the East Coast. Good news is this Category 2 storm right now is that the track is a little bit farther away from Florida. So a lot of Florida residents from Miami to Jacksonville are taking a little bit of sigh of relief. Category 2 storm right now, winds of 100 miles per hour, but overnight becoming a Cat 3 as it's moving through the Bahamas. That'll be winds over 111 miles per hour. And while it's even with Jacksonville, well off the coast, okay, so that's good news. Still winds over 111. Could become a 4 before making landfall, but it looks like Saturday morning between Myrtle Beach and Morehead City, which could be around Wilmington, making landfall as a 2 or 3 storm, but then, of course, quickly weakening as it moves up along the East Coast. But we'll be dealing with this in the Northeast all the way through the weekend. What you're looking at here is actually a radius of the wind speeds. If you see the color of yellow, that's at least tropical storm force winds. Winds over 35 miles per hour. Into the yellow, winds of 58 miles per hour or higher. And in the red, those are hurricane force winds, winds over 74 miles per hour. And you can see those will definitely be maintained through the Bahamas. And of course, the forecast will have that storm weakening as it nears the North Carolina coast. And we definitely will hope that occurs. Back to you, Mike.
Thanks, Pat. Preparations are underway in Florida as Hurricane Irene heads toward the U.S. coast. This is video from Palm Beach County, where folks there are loading up on the hurricane essentials: water, radios, batteries, and plywood. County officials are urging people to take this storm seriously.
Obviously, we're very concerned. We're going to be monitoring the storm. I would not wait till Thursday, Friday with this storm. This storm clearly could be on top of us by Thursday. So I would be evaluating your plans right now, your needs. You need to have the appropriate supplies.
By the way, this is the second Hurricane Irene that could hit the U.S. coast. In 1999, Hurricane Irene produced somewhat heavy damage across southern Florida as a Category 2 storm. By the way, hurricane names get recycled unless they are retired. Usually those that get retired are deadly and destructive storms like Katrina. Now to the latest on the conflict in Libya, where the fight for control continues. Rebels today targeted Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi's compound in Tripoli. They managed to breach it, getting inside after fierce bombing and gunfire. Still, Gaddafi himself has not been seen today. But his son, Saif al-Islam Gaddafi, appears outside a Tripoli hotel earlier today. He was said to be in rebel custody. He spoke briefly with reporters, saying news of his arrest over the weekend was a trick by Libyan rebels.
And we broke the backbone of the rebels, and so we gave them hard time. So we are winning.
Another one of Gaddafi's sons reportedly escaped from rebel control. There was no explanation from the rebel leadership. Gaddafi's decades-long rule is still looking like it soon could end as this fighting continues. The National Transitional Council forces say they now have control over about 90% of Tripoli. But as Relitza Vasilova tells us, even if Gaddafi's regime crumbles, the NTC will likely have a rough time uniting the country for long.
Crowds celebrate what they see as the coming downfall of the Gaddafi regime.
For the first time in 42 years, we feel like we're one country. Before, it was always like, oh, it's just me and my people. Now we're loving each other. People in Tripoli are chanting for Benghazi. People in Benghazi are chanting for Zintan. People in Zintan are chanting for Misrata. And it goes on. It's like we're one united against this one person.
But can Libyans emerge from Gaddafi's long shadow as one nation? Experts see huge challenges for Libya's National Transitional Council, which promises to lead Libya to inclusive democratic rule.
Libya is a country bereft of functioning institutions. Civil society was smothered a long time ago. You have some serious regional, tribal, ethnic divisions. The Transitional Council is going to face a tremendous challenge in maintaining order.
The threat of tribal violence is all too real. Just last month, the council struggled to maintain order within its own ranks after rogue rebels killed their top military commander, Abdel Fattah Yunus, a former Gaddafi security chief. Only a council shakeup convinced the general's tribe not to take revenge but seek justice through the council. Relitza Vasilova reporting.
The NTC says its fights won't be over until it captures Gaddafi. Well, Dominique Strauss-Kahn is a free man. The former International Monetary Fund chief was accused in May of raping a hotel maid. Today, those charges were dropped. Prosecutors say there were too many questions about the alleged victim's credibility. Time for Global News Now. Jack Layton, who was Canada's new Democratic Party leader and a former candidate for Prime Minister, has died. He passed away yesterday in Toronto after a fight with cancer. Layton was 61 years old. His death comes just weeks after he announced he was battling cancer and needed to take some time off. Layton led the NDP to a big victory in the May elections. Vice President Joe Biden is in Tokyo today. He's there to express his sympathy and encourage the nation to move past the hurt and despair caused by the deadly tsunami and quake. Earlier, he met with Japan's Prime Minister. Biden also took time to reassure the nation that America and Japan will overcome the recent economic downturn. Former Thai Prime Minister Shinawatra says he likely will return to Thailand one day. He made his comments during a visit to Tokyo. Shinawatra was ousted in a military coup in 2006 and faces jail in Thailand after being convicted of corruption. He's living in exile in Dubai. His youngest sister was just elected Thailand's first female prime minister. Even a hippopotamus in tropical Puerto Rico needs a visit from a dentist every once in a while. This 3,000-pound hippo's teeth got too big for its mouth, so a doctor was called in to file them down with a saw. That's your Global News Now. The president of ratings agency Standard & Poor's is stepping down. Devin Sharma will leave his post by the end of the year to pursue other opportunities. There was no mention in the announcement of S&P's controversial downgrade of America's credit rating. The U.S. Justice Department recently launched an investigation into S&P's ratings practices for mortgage-backed securities. Douglas Peterson, the current COO of Citibank North America, has been tapped to replace Sharma. Gas prices are holding steady on this Tuesday. The price you'll pay on average for regular unleaded is $3.57 per gallon. You're going to find the cheapest gas in Tucson, Arizona at $3.26. The most expensive, Honolulu at $3.98. Two car competitors are merging for the sake of fuel efficiency. Ryan Bass has that and more in tonight's Back to Business.
Rivals Ford and Toyota are working together to develop a new hybrid truck. The new partnership is expected to produce hybrid rear-wheel drive pickups and SUVs sometime later this decade. Toyota says it hopes to use Ford's presence in the truck and SUV market to help expand its hybrid technology. The agreement has the automakers still competing for sales, but sharing research and developmental costs. United Continental is investing more than $500 million to spruce up its airlines. It's adding fully reclining seats to 62 additional long-distance aircrafts. It's also introducing streaming wireless video and coach on its 747 aircraft and expects to double the overhead space on more than 150 single-aisle planes. Apple has ordered key parts for its new iPad 3, which it hopes to launch early next year. The next generation tablet is expected to feature a high-resolution display, the company reported huge profits for its fiscal third quarter, which ended in June, after selling more than 9 million units during that quarter. For Back to Business, I'm Ryan Bass.
Thanks, Ryan. Up next, 2 deadly air show crashes have people wondering if they're worth the risk. But organizers of one say the show must go on. How they are ensuring everything is safe. Plus, David Letterman, the next target for terrorists? It's no laughing matter, well, unless you're Letterman.
So my point is I take full responsibility for the joke. I'm an adult.
Hi everybody, again, welcome back. We're going to start our look at the nation's weather by starting once again down in the Caribbean at Hurricane Irene. Irene moving away from Hispaniola, Dominican Republic, and Haiti through the Bahamas. It looks like it's going to be maintaining itself as a Category 2 storm through this evening, but overnight could become a Category 3 storm, which will mean winds of 111 miles per hour or higher. Today, winds of 100 mile per hour winds. That's a Category 2 storm. Sometimes gusting, though, to 120, so there are some stronger gusts within this storm. All right, watch us on this west-northwesterly track, becoming a 3 perhaps tomorrow, at least that's the official forecast, and staying farther away from Florida for now. So that's good news for Atlantic coast residents of Florida staying offshore, but of course there will be rip tides and strong waves and some surge, so that'll still be an issue, but not a direct hit on Florida. At least it doesn't look like that. But anywhere from Myrtle Beach to Morehead City, North Carolina, which is really close to Wilmington, North Carolina, making landfall Saturday morning. 3, maybe a 2. A Category 3 storm is winds over 111 miles per hour. Keep that in mind. Hopefully less than that, then quickly downgrading as it moves across land. You can see Sunday, a Category 1 storm eventually becoming just a tropical storm. All right, remember Harvey from last week? Well, it's emerged off of Mexico in the Pacific. Some organization could occur. It will move out into the Pacific, not really threat anybody, but if it does, it would have a new name because it's in a different ocean now, so it wouldn't be Harvey anymore. Across the country, we still have the jet stream flow with the hot air toward the south and the jet stream flow being where the storms are going. We had those last night. We had them Sunday night through Omaha, last night this morning through the Midwest into Chicago, all the way from Dubuque through Chicago. Heavy rainfall and wind. Some locations picking up over 2 inches of rainfall from this. And in the southeast, seeing limited thunderstorm activity, but still some there. But of course, the Arklatex all the way into central Missouri, Louisiana, and Mississippi with heat advisories for heat indices up to 110 and excessive heat warnings for actual temperatures up to 115 in the southwestern U.S. So indeed hot. All right, with the ongoing storms in the Midwest into tonight, Michigan, Indiana, threat of severe weather tomorrow that will continue moving into the Ohio Valley all the way to western New York, western PA, West Virginia, even portions of Tennessee and Kentucky as that marches eastward. But notice this. That's the surge of the warm air, and you know what? The humid air is there too. Cooler air from the west on the other side of that jet stream is trying to shove that through and eventually will. However, along the east coast, we will be watching where Irene will go. Temperatures still warm in the south, milder in the northwest. Phoenix only a low of 89 tonight. And Phoenix tomorrow will get to 114. Houston 99, Little Rock 96, Atlanta 89, and Chicago 90.